number 20 of the test review. Okay. X to the fourth minus 6x squared minus 7x minus 6 equals 0. Okay, so first you have to find the positive, how many positive roots you'll have. And this is based on Descartes' rules of signs. So here, this is a positive, and it goes 1, it's just 1. So you'll have one positive root. And then you go to your negatives, and you'll plug in negative x. But since this is a even exponent, it'll end up being a positive, so you keep it the same. So it'll be x, and that's also even, so you keep it negative 6x squared, but this is an odd exponent, so it'll become positive 7x, and then since there's no x variable, it stays as 6. Okay, so here we have 1, 2, 3 changes in signs, but then you also have 1 because you subtract 2 from that. Okay, so then next you have to find your possible roots. So to find that, you use the conjugate root theorem. So you have to take your last and you divide it by your first. So your so it'll be 6 over 1. And the roots of 6 would be plus or minus 6, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3. All over 1, which would just be these. So then you have to go through and you just have to plug in the possible roots for this equation. And you know you have one positive, and you know you either have 3 or 1 possible roots for this equation. So we're just going to go ahead and start with -2 to speed up the process, because I tried -1 the first time and it didn't work. So you'll use the you'll use synthetic division. So it'll be 1, -6, but never mind that. But since you need an x cubed, so you'll put a 0 since there's not one, and then -6, -7, and -6 again. But that'll show you a remainder. Okay, so you move your 1 down there, and then you multiply it by -2, so it'll be -2, -2, 4, -2, -2 times -2 is 4, so it'll be -3, and that becomes a positive 6, which gives you a remainder of 0. So that shows that that is one of your rational answers, rational roots. So you'll have to rewrite your equation as x cubed minus 2x squared minus 2x minus 3 and x plus 2, because your original is x minus c, but since it's a -2, it'll become a positive. Okay, so then you have to go through and you have to simplify it again, and now you have, so you can like go through and find your possible roots from this now. And there's no 6 and there's no 2, so it's either positive 3, -1, or 1 or -3. So we're just going to go ahead and start with 3. So you do 3, and then you go through and do synthetic division again. So 1, -2, -2, -3. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Which gives you a remainder of 0. So then you simplify your equation again, and you get x squared plus x plus 1, x, and you bring this 2, so plus 2. And since it's a positive 3, it'll become x minus 3. That's a 2 right there. Okay. So now since you have a exponent of 2, you can go through and you can do the quadratic formula. So we're going to go up here. So our A is 1, our B is 1, and our C is 1. So our quadratic formula is -a, which is 1, plus or minus square root of a squared, which is 1, minus 4 times 1 times 1 all over 2a, and a is 1. Okay, so we'll go through and we'll simplify. So plus or minus 1 minus 4 over 2, negative 1 plus or minus negative 3 over 2. And since we have a negative 3, that becomes plus I square root of 3, like that. And this is our answer. So it's either plus or minus. And based on the rules of conjugate root, that means that we'll have two answers. So from this, because negative 1 plus I root 3 over 2 and negative 1 minus I root 3 over 2. But then you also have these answers because it asks for all of your zeros right there. Okay, so then your answers will also be, we had a negative 3, which becomes a 3, and a negative 2. So here is our answer right here, this whole box thing.